Hi, welcome to our 3D printing workshop. This video is an instructional video meant for educators. So that's teachers, instructors, even parents, and for showing how to introduce 3D printing technology to students that are new to it. So as you can see here, we have a collection of objects that we've made with this 3D printer. And we will, so first I'm going to show you the objects. And we'll go back later and talk about the 3D printer. The reason I want to show you the objects first is because at the beginning of your 3D printing lesson to the students, we're talking, K through 8, but you really want to grab their attention quickly. And the way to do it, I think, is to show them objects that they can touch, examine, and really start thinking, wow, how did this get made? Or, just to get interested. You want to, very important, grab their attention quickly. So we're going to go right into the objects. All right, so we'll start with these. Now these, they're called Flexies. And as you see, they can move. So this horse, for example, all these were printed in one shot. They were sitting on the printer plate, and it's being built up in layers, upward like this. The individual pieces are not printed separately. It's all printed in one go. And after taking it off the tray, it's flexible. All right, it was not printed this way, but that way. And again, pass these around, have the kids explore it, really just examine it, and you want them to be asking questions. It means they're interested, and you answer, so you can talk about the technology, answer their questions as you go along. This elephant is interesting. When it was printed, it was flat on the bed like this, and the layers are being built up that way. Okay, and then, but after you take it off, this is baby elephant, this is mama elephant. Then these parts, you just kind of jiggle out, and then it becomes articulating. So this is called, human, our bones, it's articulating. This nose trunk was designed so that it's flexible with these little cutouts. So things like, you could do that in 3D printing. Oh, lizards. Here's a gecko. See the individual pieces, flexible. But again, built from the first layers printed were down here. The last layer is the top here. Here is chameleon, different shape. Okay, so these are great starters for the students to be handling. And remember, this showing them the objects is a discovery phase. Let's go into these knots. Now this is beautiful, I think, as an art object. It has a mathematical model. What you want the audience to be noticing is, as this was built this way, and you can, when you look close, there are layers, but this is additive process. The 3D printer is putting down the filament, that's what this material is called, building up in layers. It's not printing like this, of course. It's putting a layer on top of it, so it's adding. And now this one here, when it's printing, you actually see these supports are printed with it, and this base. Because it's an additive process, if you're adding layers that start hanging over, that go beyond the base, without the supports, it'll just droop down and fall off. So that's why you need these supports. They will be trimmed off and discarded later to get this result. Okay, hello horses. Unicorn. Okay, let's go to these plants here. So here's a flower. It's the same flower with this kind of this is a plastic-based material. After printing, you can immediately start painting it if you wish. So here's a nice white flower. Here's the painted version. And again, additive process. It's building up layer by layer. But look how delicate each petal is. I mean, it's just thin, but yet, you know, it builds up. So the main thing is this is not carved out. This would be very difficult to make carved. But in printing, you can make such an intricate structure like this more easily. This bottle, I know we're supposed to talk about plants, but look at this bottle. It's a Klein bottle. Again, if you try to carve this, very, very difficult. You know, how are you going to build this if you, right? But with 3D printing, the mechanics of it are actually very simple. You just build it up layer by layer, and the drawing pen knows when to skip to make a space. But look at that. This is very possible to make with 3D printing. So back to our plants. Okay, here, smiling cactus. So fun. What I really like about this object is we printed it in 3 pieces. 3 fitted pieces. So here's the pot. Here's a fitted lid. Now this knob here, yeah, it's great for holding, but this is meant to attach the cactus. So we're gonna go like this, and see, you got your smiling cactus. Okay, so but, you know, you can print. There's just so many ways to do it. So here's printing separate fitted pieces. Instead of just trying to make this all one, you know, one solid, you can do it this way. And now I have like a container to put my stuff in. Okay, let's go to these chains. Look at this chain link. Silver and gold. What I love about these, again, you know, let the kids touch this stuff and handle it. Look how free those links are. Was it printed like that? No. It was printed like this in a bar. And again, you can see here little supports. There. Those pieces there, supports. This is called a raft. So it makes a base. But this thing is being printed vertically, so that's why you need those structures, mechanical structures to support, just like building a house. Here's another chain, and we attached a charm to it afterwards. But, you know, it's pretty fun. Okay, let's do this next. This is a puzzle. This is known as an Escher lizard, the shape. Designed by Escher. And what makes this a puzzle, try to illustrate it here. From one shape, you can get them all to interlock. So here, I'm going to put this right in there, snap it in. This piece, rotate it like that. This one, let's see if I can do this. It should be like this. So the 3 lizards, the heads point, you know, different directions. But now you have this interlocking puzzle just from printing one piece. We printed in many colors. This you can have the kids put it together. Again, handle, touch, discover, examine. This was printed in layers also. Now here's some more, like, they're fun objects, but they're also very functional and practical. So here's buttons. Here's a sleeve cuff. And, you know, when we buy here's buttons, standard buttons that you buy. But if you want to redecorate and make your clothes fun, you can print buttons. Here's a paw. This is a Minion. This is Mr. Mustache. Big and little. Here is a gear. And this one, it's got a nice space age shape. I did that just to show, you know, this one was printed to work with this size of buttonhole. Okay, now here, okay, this one is the paw again, but I made it into a magnet for the fridge. Okay, here's a charm. It's a star. And you can pin it here. And we'll be seeing a lesson later about how we use the Tinkercad software to design this for printing. Here is a cat charm, happy cat. Well, actually we call this the lucky cat. Now this is hollow inside. Sorry, kind of here. This red horse, remember we had the horse? But look at this side. It is hollow inside. It has a fill. It's a honeycomb pattern. I purposely left off the final outer layer so you can see how these are printed hollow. It saves on printing material. Most of all, it saves on print time. This horse, this one is 2.5 hours to print completely. Okay, this chain link, 14 links, that was 3.5 hours. This beauty, 6.5, right? Start it, go to bed, come back, and hope it looks good. These lizards, looking at my notes, 1 hour. Well, with our particular printer model here, and this printer model is it's not high-end. The high-end ones will print much faster, but still it takes time, even if they're a higher-end model. This flower, 3 hours, beautiful. These are printed in pieces, so even though each one of them takes an hour, or maybe, I think the cactus head was 2, it still adds up. So these little ones, 10 minutes. Okay, so just keep that in mind. And that's something you want to, let your students know about why we want hollow. Just reduce the printer time. But there's a fill-in to keep it strong. You don't want it to collapse. This other object, it's a bat, but it's meant to be a phone holder. Imagine this to be a phone. Tuck it in there. You can watch your video. And again, it's painted. After we used silver, and then I painted it. So all these are, it's paintable. Okay, this is practical, right, to holder. Here's another practical but fun thing to print. These are Minecraft stamps. All these are Minecraft symbols, characters. But here's an ink pad. Okay. Another thing about the inside of the object. Inside here, again, it's semi-hollow, and they call this an infill. Now, this is a wonderful example of the hexagon honeycomb. You can make it denser, but for this application, that's fine enough to give it strength while saving print time. So let's stamp. Okay, let's do a honeycomb first. We can stamp with the honey. There, honeycomb. Let's do some Minecraft characters. Okay, inked it. There, sort of like a face. Here's another. Finally, this one. Now, this stamp, I wrapped it with some fun decorative tape, very inexpensive. But, there's additional things you can do to make your personal items personal and interesting. Okay, so there's the stamps. Put this back. So, all these small items here, again, very much quicker to, well, this bat took a while, but these small buttons, stamps, charms, we're talking 15 minutes, maybe 20, less. So that gives an idea, like how much time it takes. But then on the other hand, this is very possible. The time it takes to print this, much less than carving it, of course, much more clean result. So these are our collection of objects, and in the next video, we're going to take one of these lizard pieces. Well, here's a bigger version of that. But we're going to print it on this printer.